protecting them.
Didn't you like what the networks did with the election returns this year? They turned it into a game show. The winner was anybody who could guess what was going on. One network got so confused they projected Walter Cronkite as our next president. Next year, they may decide to tell us absolutely nothing. Come to think of it, that's just about what they told us this year. But I think the elections came at the right time of the year. As soon as all that hot air stopped, winter set in. I don't do a lot of political jokes. Too many of them are getting elected. I couldn't believe how much money was spent on this year's campaigns. Hundreds of millions of dollars. But the way politicians look at money is you can't take it with you. And even if they could, it would have to be fireproofed. California elected a new governor, which would be tough on school children. They're going to have to learn to spell Dukmagian. And Senator Laxalt said he thinks Reagan will run again in '84. I won't believe that until Reagan goes on TV and says he's not a candidate. No, I think he'll go again. Actors love reruns. And let me tell you, he's a pretty good actor, too. He's no Marlon Brando, but I'm glad about that. Otherwise, he would have had an Indian take the oath of office for him. That's a memory test, isn't it? And you know, there's a gas price war in California. The price of gas has plunged to only 3 times what it was a few years ago. Remember when you say, fill it up, they laugh at you? Now they say, bless you. It feels great to be able to tell a gas station owner who charges for air to blow it out his ear. And gas stations are doing everything to attract customers. Some of them have even reopened their restrooms. The Space Shuttle Columbia launched the first business system, by the way. It's a satellite for commercial use. And you know what that means, don't you? Commercials in space. Won't that be something? Trying to explain Mr. Whipple to higher intelligence? This is the first time they put 4 men into space together. Remember their problem the last trip? The 4th guy's a plumber. No, this was America's 36th manned space flight. That is, if you don't count the Rolling Stones tour. And Thanksgiving is on the way. The first Thanksgiving took place at Plymouth Rock. The Pilgrims invited the Indians to dinner, then sold them condominiums. We never buy live turkeys at our house anymore. One year I brought one home. The kids fell in love with it, and I ended up putting it through Harvard. Out here, we have Hollywood Boulevard to remind us of the Pilgrims. Where else can you see guys wearing tight leotards and bright buckles on their shoes? Thanksgiving in Beverly Hills is something else. It's the one place the turkey comes with designer drumsticks. And it must be fun carving a bird with Gucci stripes around it. And I love those exclusive stores along Rodeo Drive. I'd stop there, but I never have enough drachmas for the parking meter. Not everyone in Beverly Hills has turkey. The Arabs go out on the lawn and sacrifice a goat. Of course, you all know what a Beverly Hills housewife makes for Thanksgiving dinner. A reservation. Now, NBC invites all their celebrities to a special holiday dinner. I never miss the NBC dinner. George Burns is always there, so I get to thank God in person. And this year, the NBC executives wanted to cut down on costs, so it wasn't exactly an elaborate affair. Well, let me put it this way. It was the first time I ever had Turkey McNuggets. You know what a turkey is? That's an eagle designed by Congress. Hey, we got a beautiful weather right now, but let me tell you about the wild and crazy weather we've been having out here. Or as we call the local forecast, a apocalypse now. Apocalypse now. Hail, sleet, and rain. It didn't bother me, but my caddy was getting pretty annoyed. Oh, I like to play golf in bad weather. It matches my game. And the rains were so bad, I saw a little man on the Hollywood freeway collecting animals by twos. The thunder was something. I haven't heard rumbling like that since Orson Welles took up jogging. But with all the high wind, lots of people out here are now ready for Christmas. They have trees in their living room. Well, it's kind of scary when the weatherman says, I'll have the local forecast in a moment, but let's pause for these prayers. I generally don't watch the weather, but when it tears the roof off your house, it can get your attention. You know, we even had hail out here. I never heard hail on my roof before. I thought it was applause. I almost caught pneumonia when I ran outside to take a bow. We've had snow, hail, hurricanes, tornadoes, and it all just proves one thing. God wants to watch Sunday football. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Smell that fresh bread, Officer Donahue.
Nothing can penetrate this stuffy nose, Mrs. Barry.
This can.
Hall's mentholyptus.
Uh-huh, with vapor action. Hall's vapor action penetrates deep into clogged nasal passages to help your stuffy nose feel clearer, while Hall soothes your throat to help your cough.
Hey, you were right.
About the bread?
About the Halls. For penetrating relief, get Hall's vapor action. And try sugar-free Halls, too.
To the well-dressed man, J.C.Penney dedicates a collection of easygoing sportswear, starting with the durable comfort of wide wale corduroy trousers at $28. The versatile V-neck comes in a selection of shades for $26. The Stafford sport coat shown here is a subtle Harris tweed, $119. Get the good news in sportswear exclusively at J.C.Penney, dedicated to the well-dressed man.
We are USA 1. Taking charge by unleashing a Chevrolet the competition can't touch. Camaro. Flat outselling every other 2+2 sports coupe on the road today. And now Camaro is led by a new standard 5-speed, 5-liter Z28. The hot-selling Chevy Camaro. It still leaves everything but its shadow behind. USA 1 is taking charge.
I do one thing. Magic. And the secret to being the best is concentrating on one thing, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They concentrate on making chicken taste magical. I don't know what their secret is, but I know it's something only Kentucky Fried Chicken can do. They make the chicken appear, and we make it disappear.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Here's a young lady whose talent just won't stop. Whether it's on the screen and television, on the stage, the nightclub floor, she sings, she dances, she's a natural comedian. The sparkling and effervescent Bernadette Peters, right here.
The golden rules my forum. I'm sweet as I can be. I'm known for strict decorum, from sea to shining sea. But once or twice a year, this uncontrollable desire creeps up and whispers in my ear and sets my soul on fire.
can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child. It's so contagious.
Let's be outrageous.
Let's misbehave.
When Adam won his hand, he wouldn't stand for
Teasing with you.
He didn't care about those apples out of season. They say that spring means just one thing to little lovers. We're not our bumpers.
Let's misbehave.
Let's misbehave. It's getting late, and while we wait, my poor heart aches on. Why keep the brakes on? Let's misbehave. I feel quite sure a good more would be attractive. And you are we're still active. Let's misbehave. You know my heart is true when you say you want me care. Somebody should have tell, but what the heck do we care? They say that there's a love affairs and even camels. We're merely mammals. Let's misbehave.
They say that there's a lot of things and even camels. We're merely mammals. Let's misbehave. There is nothing more to say but let's misbehave.
Tonight we'll be seeing clips from all those wonderful Pink Panther movies over the last 20 years. Helping to pick them out was quite an experience for me. It's the first time I've ever watched that much film that I wasn't in. As you'll see, they're a fitting tribute to the comic genius of Peter Sellers, in whose honor we dedicate our show tonight. In his role as the bumbling Inspector Clouseau, it's debatable which he bruises more, his shins or the English language. But I'll let you judge for yourself. Let's take a look.
This reminds me of my younger days at the Sûreté Police Academy. The parallel bars, my specialty. I was something of an athlete, you know. Yes, yes. I was known as the tableur of the parallels. Yes. Yes, it's all coming back now. Ah, yes, I remember. Well, that felt good. Well, now, I expect you're all wondering why I asked you here. Obvious that the night that wore that suit did not last very long. yes, I know. Now, yes, as I was saying,
You were saying you supposed we were all wondering why you called us.
Look, there is no need for you to speak unless I ask you a question. What is your name?
I'm Shawk, the gardener.
And what is it you do?
I'm the gardener.
And why didn't you say that to me in the first place?
I did.
Look, don't try to be funny with me, monsieur. This is a very serious matter, and everyone in this room is under the suspicions.
Room?
What? What was that?
You said room.
Yes, I know that. And there is a very good chance that someone in this room knows more about the murder than he is telling.
Murder?
What was that you said?
I said murder.
What murder?
Well, I don't know. You said murder.
I said murder? You said murder.
No, I said murder because you said murder.
I said murder!
You said there was someone in this room who knew more about the murder than he's telling.
Now listen. What was your name?
Shawk.
The cook.
Gardener.
Ah! Now we are getting somewhere. You.
Are you all right, Mr. Stutterstat?
Who is this, ma'am?
He's Mr. Stutterstat.
I see. And what is your job, Mr. Stuckerstuff?
He's the beekeeper.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking Mr. Stuffsucker. What's that? What is he saying to you? What? What was that?
He says he's got a bit of a cold and he's lost his voice.
Lost his voice. A beekeeper who has lost his voice. A cook who thinks he's a gardener. And a witness to a murder. Oh, yes. It is obvious to my trained eye that there is much more going on here than meets the ear.
Pro football is back in full swing, and fans all over the country are rejoicing. The players didn't know what the future held, so it's no wonder they were depressed. Here's how 4 of them tried to cheer each other up.
When we went out on strike, we really thought we had it made. We figured our demands would be immediately okay. We're tired of playing Pac-Man at the neighborhood arcade while we've been waiting in the wings.
We're not playing football, and I'd like to know just why.
I can't rush the quarterback, break a nose or black an eye.
If I don't have my violence, I might shrivel up and die. It's murder waiting in the wings. The country is surviving without the NFL.
But can it get along without the mouth known as Cosell?
Our wives are getting bitter. They may strike themselves en masse.
They hate that we no longer can afford to go first class.
So even when we're in our homes, we can't complete a pass.
While we're waiting in the wings.
You miss football?
Oh, I miss handling the football so much I drool every time I watch Miss Piggy.
I refuse to let my talent go to waste. I think I'll apply for a job running interference for Christmas shoppers.
Yeah, good luck. Some of those women shoppers make Hacksaw Reynolds look like Truman Capote. Hey, what do you do for violence?
I watch the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, I got it made. I got no financial worries at all.
How come?
I just sold my wife and kids.
We've taken part-time jobs just to survive from week to week. It really is degrading for an athlete at his peak.
Can you believe that Mean Joe Green now works in a boutique?
While we are waiting in the wings.
We pity all the fans who used to love to watch us blitz.
TV without our violence is a bummer. It's the pits.
Now you can only watch us selling Miller's, Coors, and Schlitz.
We keep waiting in the wings. To keep from getting rusty, we practice all the time. Last week we made an end run round the unemployment line.
Sure, we're big macho fellas, but we still sit home and wail.
It's been weeks since we have patted another player on the tail.
When we're playing, it's expected. When on strike, we're sent to jail.
We're just waiting. It's getting irritating. We keep waiting in the wings.
I just got a telegram. The football strike is over.
We're back in action. Soon we'll be attraction.
No more waiting in the wings.
Tell him, boy.
In Colombia, South America, it is a tradition to celebrate the Day of the Farmer. To celebrate for men like Juan Valdez, who for centuries have gone to the fields to pick by hand only the coffee beans that are ready, because it is their dedication to the heritage of Colombian coffee that makes it the richest coffee in the world. And that is worth celebrating.
I'm renewing my skin's glow, and in the minutes it takes, I'm renewing the look of my hair, too. Like my skin, my hair can look old, so I use the Clairol Color Renewal System. The Color Revitalizing Gel and Conditioning Revitalizing Treatment renew the depth and luster of my natural color to a young, healthy look. It's so gentle it blends away in 6 shampoos. Want younger-looking hair? Renew it with the Clairol Color Renewal System, because your hair is as important as your skin.
Who won?
Don't ask.
What are you eating?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds? Do you know about Sunlight cooking oil?
No. Yes.
Sunlight's made from 100% sunflower seed oil.
So?
So it's lower in saturated fats than all the leading oils, with no cholesterol.
And it tastes great.
Well, that I know.
Sunlight. All natural from the seed of the sunflower.
You're about to witness a new creation, a whole new class of automobile, the Chrysler E-Class. Chrysler's largest front-wheel drive sedans, with elegance, luxury, with room for 5, 6, even 7. The E-Class sedan, so technologically advanced, it monitors itself to keep you secure.
All monitored systems are functioning.
Surprisingly priced. They are protected for 5 years or 50,000 miles. The Chrysler E-Class.
We'll be right back with Willie Nelson.
Dear Lord, thank you for this food and the people gathered here at this table. I thought this was going to be a sad day, but it's turned out to be a wonderful one. Please bless this home, and our family, and our friends as we each count our own blessings.
The most special Walton's movie of all, coming tomorrow on NBC.
Strange things are happening. Hi. It took hundreds of people 2 years and $6.5 million to create this spectacular Century Village clubhouse at Boca Raton. It's got everything: entertainment, sports, cultural, educational, and recreational activities of every kind imaginable. It's the big difference that made Century Village Florida's most successful condominium community. See for yourself. Call toll-free 800-327-1690 for details. Did you call?
Lovely ladies have some good, clean fun in the mud on More Real People, Monday at 4:30.
One of the most sizzling recording artists to hit the country music scene in ages is about to saunter out on our stage. Taking a break from hanging gold records on the wall of his bunkhouse, he just completed a new movie called Barbarossa. Here he is on the road again, the fabulous Willie Nelson, right here.
Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. And maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. I guess I never told you, but I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. And tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. And give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. I'll keep you satisfied. Said and done, I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Always on my mind.
From the earliest silent films, Destruction and Mayhem have provided fertile ground for comedy. Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau and Bert Kwok as his Oriental manservant Cato, in their frequent onslaughts on each other, which include every conceivable type of weapon and piece of furniture, have given us some of the most outrageous and funniest scenes of choreographed havoc in screen history. Sit back and enjoy.
Cato? Cato! Cato! Pay attention, this is your employer speaking. I am canceling the attack orders for tonight. Do you understand? I know that I told you to show no mercy and to attack and to pay no attention to what I say. But tonight... But tonight, I am ordering you to pay attention. will not attack, Kettle!
Shut up that row!
I am trying to save my life, madam. Obviously, the little swine is not paying attention.
Building, but we're doing a great deal to it.
Yes.
I'm sure when it's finished, you'll find it very peaceful and quite delightful.
Chief Inspector Clouseau's residence.
Clouseau?
One moment, please. For you.
Excuse me, madame and messieurs. I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry.
It's still for you, Inspector.
Chief Inspector. Pardon me, I need it on the film. Hello? This is Chief Inspector Clouseau speaking on the phone.
What are you doing home?
Cold. Severe cold.
Not just the sniffles? Fever.
Severe cold.
Timber!
Kind of like flu. Medicine, the coat pocket severe cold formula.
Severe cold formula? How about contract?
No, severe cold formula has more per dose for fever, aches.
Even coughing. Don't talk. Take it.
When you really are sick, severe cold formula from Contact.
I was sick.
When Ford Escort started out, it had a lot of things going for it. Nimble front-wheel drive, four-wheel independent suspension, and great mileage. No wonder Escort sales have jumped over every big car, small car, foreign car, domestic car, over every other car line in America.
Have you driven a Ford? Driven a Ford lately? Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas from your Kmart Christmas store. Save on bowling balls and skirts, sweaters, rods and wheels and shirts.
Cameras, TVs, bikes and plants, handbags, bath oil, slippers, pants.
Mirrors, perfume, gowns and socks, toasters, roasters, robes and clocks. Candy, records, film and toys at Santa Land for girls and boys. Christmas smiles light every face at
Kmart's Christmas saving place.
Soup is a harvest of nerves.
Oh, Joe, you don't.
Hey, that's great perfume.
That's Campbell's bean with bacon soup. Always good. How are you?
I drove 7 states in 2 days. I'm tired and I'm starved.
Well, come on, sit down. Kitchen's still open?
That Campbell's bean with bacon soup has more vitamin A per calorie than whole milk.
Feel better?
A lot better than I did 3 states ago.
Stir up the Campbell's. Soup is good food.
Stay tuned for Julie Andrews, Dean Martin, Bernadette Peters, Robert Preston, and Robert Wagner.
Tuesday, Gavilan's kidnapped.
Cuba. My daughter must defect to the United States.
And they've got 1 chance in a million to make it out alive.
Terrific.
This is NBC News Capsule. Here is Bob Jameson.
Good evening. President Reagan tomorrow announces how he wants to deploy the MX missile. He's expected to endorse the so-called dense pack plan to place 100 missiles in a 14-mile-long strip of Wyoming. Chrysler and United Auto Workers resume negotiations tomorrow aimed at ending a costly Canadian strike and working out a new contract for American Chrysler workers. Polish Solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa went to Mass at a small chapel instead of a large church in Gdansk today, disappointing 12,000 supporters who showed up for their first glimpse of the recently released leader. Professional football returned today after its 8-week absence. Attendance was down, however. No shows were in the thousands. I'm Bob Jameson in New York. More news later on this NBC station.
Was the last time you saw the senior management of your company's bank in their annual report? The Bank of New York. We're there when you need us.
This year, Panam can take you to a side of the Caribbean you've never seen before. The international side.
Where the French get in Dutch.
Where the English give in to their temptations.
Where the Italians go for the experience.
And you know, there is nothing like the experience.
Nassau, Freeport, Antigua, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, Pan Am's International Caribbean.
These families are learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
Spanish, German,
French,
Italian.
The other,
no foreign languages.
The Atari family is learning
3 programs teach us to program.
The other.
We've only one.
And while the Atari family learns to play Centipede, Star Raiders, and Defender,
Gee, neat.
the other learned.
We made a mistake.
Over 2,000 programs with the world's most popular games, but, sorry, only with Atari home computers.
Former Nixon aide John Dean, Monday, live at 5.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce the best-looking thing to ever grace a tuxedo. The leading lady and leading man of Blake Edwards' Victor Victoria. The delightful eye-popping topless star of S.O.B. And being Mrs. Blake Edwards, she also qualifies as the Pink Panther's stepmother. And recently, to add to her many accomplishments, this beautiful lady recorded a country and western album in Nashville. Here she is, Julie Andrews.
Is never rough when 2 people fly through cotton candy clouds, across a painted sky. We ride the sunset going down. Have no fears at all, 'cause love's a place where 2 people fall. We don't have to climb a mountain. We have the wind. We don't fly in search of rainbows or wonder where they end. We just sail each day in our own way, together or not at all. 'Cause love's a place where two people fall. Each day takes us higher than the day before, exploring each other a little more, while we're spreading our wings. We're trying new things. Now we know how to live together or not at all. 'Cause love's a place where two people fall.
Welcome to our show. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you, Bob. You look pretty spiffy yourself.
Oh, you're too kind. Or kind of nearsighted somewhere. Of course, after seeing your last two pictures, I kind of expected you to walk out here wearing a tuxedo.
Well, actually, Bob, after seeing that show you did last season, where you wore a dress, I expected to see you wearing something sort of bouffant with a skirt slit up the side, you know?
Did you see that show?
Mm-hmm.
Milton Berle was so jealous, he tore up all his lingerie.
Well, what you're wearing looks very nice indeed.
Care to borrow it sometime, Victor?
Well, I love to. And you can borrow this old thing anytime you want.
Okay. Of course, you'll have to let out the top.
Mm-hmm. And you'd have to let out the bottom.
I liked her better when she was sweet and sugary, you know, Mary Poppins and Maria von Trapp. How is it you never appeared in any of the Pink Panthers?
Well, actually, Blake did put me in one of them. It was Return of the Pink Panther.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't remember you.
No, I wound up on the cutting room floor.
Really? Well, didn't you protest?
Me? The old pro? Me? No. In show business, even the best, sooner or later, end up on the cutting room floor. That is, actors, not directors. Blake wound up on the living room floor in a sleeping bag for 2 weeks.
Now we know why you never appeared in the Pink Panther, but let me ask you something. Why hasn't Blake asked me to be in one?
Well, I can't imagine why. He watches all your shows.
Oh, well, that would explain it, I guess.
Yeah, and he's used Dudley and me in his films, so it can't be because you're British. Maybe he just doesn't...
Leave it alone, Julie. Leave it alone. One line me to another. Just drop it, huh?
Okay. Listen, you and I are fellow country persons,
That's
aren't
right.
we?
Our passports have matching stiff upper lips.
I was born near London, and I grew up in Walton-on-Thames.
Well, I was born near London and grew up in Cleveland on welfare.
That poor, were you?
Poor would have been a step up for us. Now, our furniture was repossessed so many times, we had the only couch on our street was sunburned.
We weren't exactly wealthy either. I mean, our idea of a party was when my mother would dangle a brand new tea bag in the pot.
Oh, and I bet the neighbors had to call the Bobbies, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to quiet you down. I hear that was quite a talented group.
Well, we played all the musicals and things like that.
As performers, I guess we were lucky to share the birthplace of William Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm, you're right. Somehow I've always felt his presence on stage, haven't you, Bob?
Oh, how could I miss him? When I first started acting, he was usually in the audience.
Then both you and I came to America.
Yeah. How come we never made a picture together?
Well, I guess we both went in our different directions. You went your way, and I went into acting.
She's so sweet. That must be a compliment. Julianne, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, darling. Inspector Clouseau's greatest enemies aren't the master criminals of the world, but those everyday little frustrations that we all manage to take in our stride. To Clouseau, a malfunctioning doorknob or a throw rug that's come loose from its moorings becomes a challenge as insurmountable as Mount Everest. But he fights on gallantly, never conceding for an instant that anything at all is amiss. Lucky for us, because these encounters provide some of the most delightful moments ever captured on film.
If Maria Gambrelli is not a murderer, and I say she is not, you are sending an innocent girl to the guillotine. Excuse me, Francois. And another thing!
We must find that woman.
Anyway, we have no time. I must catch this man before he leaves the country.
But if you don't know who he is...
She will lead me to him. Release her.
Release her?
Of course. How can she lead me to him if she's still in prison, you idiot?
But Commissioner Dreyfus...
I will assume complete responsibility. Release her immediately. I will apprehend this culprit within 24 hours.
Inspector Clouseau.
Good evening, Monsieur Bellon.
Good evening, Inspector.
If you don't mind, there are one or two questions I would like to ask.
Of course.
Some points that need clearing up.
Certainly. You play billiards, by any chance?
Billiards? Oh, well, yes, I have played some billiards in my time.
I find that it makes for a more relaxed and friendly conversation. How about you?
Yes.
Take a cue.
Ah, cue, yes. You do? Very strange.
Well, I think you'd be better off in an ordinary cue. That's what we call a bridge.
Ah, the bridge cue, yes. Yes, I much prefer the good old-fashioned plain cue, you know. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm most terribly sorry, Anthony. Dreadfully sorry, Anthony.
Oh, well, that's all right. I've broken a few in my time. Try this one. This is my favorite cue. You'll find that it's great for curved shots. And some questions, Inspector.
Yes. I had rather hoped to have a talk with your wife.
Well, she's out. You just missed her.
On the contrary, she just missed me in the driveway going up. Bellon, did you not state that on the night of the murder, you had just arrived from London on the 11 o'clock flight?
Yes, very well.
Sorry, Monsieur Bellon.
Telephone, monsieur, for Inspector Clouseau.
Ah, that would be for me. Yes, this is Inspector Clouseau. You stay there. I will come over immediately. Monsieur Bellon, I wonder if you could oblige. I have to meet my assistant, and I am without a car.
Oh, well, I'll have Pierre drive you.
Excellent.
Well, I suppose it's the end of our game. Do you mind putting my cue away? Have Pierre bring the car.
How much did they get?
Millions. Here's the report. That will be all, Francois. Thank you.
I will explain to you the facts that led me to discover his or her identity.
Now then, the night the shop... It's a bit stuffy in here.
Your coat!
Yes, it is my coat.
But it's on fire!
What?
Huh?
My coat is on fire! My goodness, I'm burning! What?
He fell out of the window!
few days, Americans will celebrate Thanksgiving by counting their blessings and stuffing themselves with holiday goodies. We take you now to the average home of the average American couple, Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Reagan.
I should have stayed in pictures. I'm beautiful to see. I wouldn't have those Democrats to pick on me, pick on me. Oh, good, they still have money. My Social Security check. $1,600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Occupant speaking. Jimmy Carter? Well, Jimmy, what can I do for you? How did I like your new book? I couldn't put it down. That's because I never picked it up. Yeah? The same to you, fella.
There you are!
Nancy! Sweetheart.
I've been all over the White House looking for you. You've been gone for 3 hours. Have you been working all that time?
No, I spent the last 2 hours looking for the Oval Office.
Maybe we have been spending too much time at the ranch. How'd you finally find it?
Well, I snuck in on the tail end of a tour group.
Oh, good. Well, dinner is coming along beautifully. It should be ready shortly.
Oh, that's swell, Nancy. What are we having?
All your favorites. Caesar salad with jelly bean dressing, roast turkey stuffed with jelly beans, mashed jelly beans and yams smothered in jelly bean gravy.
Well, that sounds great, but what about dessert?
Oh, no dessert for you. You know the doctor told you to cut down on sweets. Ronnie, oh, here it is. Ronnie, I thought you would like to preview the turkey.
Well, it's something. It's really beautiful.
It should be. It was dressed personally by Oscar de la Renta.
Now, where'd it come from?
It has a mommy and a daddy, just like everybody else.
No, Nancy. I mean, where did you get the turkey?
Oh, it's a gift. The card said from your Democratic friends in California.
Yeah, well, before we enjoy it, let's have Jerry Brown give it a taste test, huh?
Oh, Ronnie, it's going to be a wonderful Thanksgiving. The whole family will be here.
Isn't that marvelous? I think that's just... Doesn't that kid say hello anymore?
Would you believe he danced all the way from New York? He couldn't afford the choo-choo, so he came by tutu.
How would you like to run that by me again?
Now, everyone is here. They're just waiting for you to start dinner.
Well, did you check the lighting?
Oh, yes. The youth spotlight is right in place. You'll look like the Gipper as a teenager.
Oh, dear. The hairdresser and the makeup man?
In the hall, comb and eyebrow pencil at the ready.
Well, how about the cue cards? They expect me to be amusing.
The jokes are embroidered on your napkin.
Oh, that's great. Now, who's going to carve the turkey?
The Surgeon General, of course.
Why couldn't we get a name surgeon like Trapper John or Hawkeye Pierce?
We can't afford it. You cut the appropriation out of the last money bill.
Don't know why they do those things.
Joe? I gotta talk to you.
Who are you?
Bush. George Bush.
Oh, Bush. Bush, yes. Nice seeing you again. I like your beard.
Not Anheuser-Busch. George Bush, Vice President.
Oh, that Bush. I thought you looked familiar, yes.
Nobody recognizes me anymore. The other night I went to Jersey City. They introduced me as the Vice President. Everybody thought I was Walter Mondale. It's enough to drive a man to drink.
For you, that's a short putt.
By the way, who are you?
Are you kidding me? I'm your boss, Ronald Reagan.
Ah, sorry, pal. Didn't recognize you. I've never seen you standing up before.
Well, I'm almost always standing up.
Not you, me. Excuse me. Sorry, ma'am, but what did he say my job was?
You're the Vice President.
Vice President? Sounds like fun. Have I found any?
Don't you remember we were elected 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah, we beat that Southern fella. Yeah. What's his name? Glenn Campbell. Oh, I'll see you.
That's the last time I'll advertise for a running mate in the Hollywood Reporter.
Mr. President. I'd like to talk to you about the budget.
Mr. Stockman, I wish you'd wash your mouth out with soap. This is Thanksgiving. We're trying to think of things to be thankful for.
How bad are things, David?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. We just had to borrow from Chrysler.
Gee, I don't know how they could afford it. Last time I saw Iacocca, he was driving a Chevrolet.
The budget deficit is so big that the next time you travel to California, you'll have to go by 20 mule team. And Senator Baker is going to have to start doing his own hair. And the fixings for tonight's dinner will be turkey helper washed down with Ripple. But I don't want you to worry, sir. We have a solution to the whole problem. We can make Mexico the 51st state.
You've done it again. You're cracking up.
Think about it. Mexico is rich in oil, minerals, tequila.
It's not a bad idea, Ronnie. You like margaritas.
How could we take over Mexico?
We give them an offer they can't refuse. We give them back Fernando Valenzuela and Ricardo Montalban.
What if they turn it down?
Then we throw in Hervé Villachez.
You got any more brilliant ideas?
I'm so glad you asked, First Lady. We put on a gigantic, nationwide garage sale. All proceeds to be donated to the federal government. And you can lead the way with the garage sale right here at the White House.
Oh, you know, I think you've got something there. We could make a lot of money.
Yes, we could sell Abraham Lincoln's bed.
Yeah, and Mrs. Lincoln's bed.
They didn't sleep together?
His beard tickled her.
I've checked. You've got a lot of things that the public would like to grab up. You have President Grant's first shot glass, 3 of Amy Carter's baby teeth, and a 6-pack of Billy Beer.
Hey, I could throw in some autographed firewood that I chopped at the ranch.
And we've got that chandelier that Jerry Ford broke when he was practicing his putting.
Yeah, and how about Teddy Roosevelt's whoopee cushion he used when he was a Rough Rider?
There should be some other way to raise money. How about a Ronald Reagan Film Festival? We'll play it in theaters everywhere, and people will flock to it.
I don't know. Those long lines of fans waiting to get in to see your pictures, all those autograph hounds. We could never control the crowds.
David, you're being wasted as budget director. You should be Secretary of State.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. But right now, I'll get back to the kitchen. I only hope that the Brillo holds out.
Mr. President, there's a Mr. O'Neill at the front door, sir.
Tip? Oh, I'd recognize his card anywhere. It's edible. Where is he?
Well, I would assume, sir, that he is still trying to get through the front door.
I hope you don't mind. I came through the rose garden. Faith in Begorra, Aaron go bra, top of the morning, and a happy Thanksgiving to the utterly delightful and charming first family.
And you thought turkeys were the only things that were stuffed on Thanksgiving, huh?
Speaker, this is a surprise. May I set a place for you at our table?
Oh, no, I'm afraid not.
How about several places?
No, I must be toddling along back to Boston. And besides, I never eat Republican turkeys.
Oh, well, why not?
Too many right wings.
How could Henny Youngman have an Irish son?
Well, if you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I must check on our bird.
I thought LBJ was the only one who kept birds in the White House. Oh, Mr. President, Thanksgiving is a time of joy. Now, let's see we settle our differences. Forgive and forget, bury the hatchet, let bygones be bygones.
You really want to bury the hatchet?
That's right, Ronnie, but don't ask me where. A little democratic humor there. Now, let's cooperate. I'll help you get bills through the House if you help me pass my bill.